Alright guys, I'm going to be making another one of those videos where I just grab my phone and yap, because we all know the Marvels does some confusing stuff and we don't necessarily know how they're going to connect everything that they've done, because to me, and I'm assuming to others too, Marvel has, ever since the Multiverse saga started, everything's kind of just been a little bit all over the place, so we don't necessarily know how everything's going to connect and all of that, but I think I got it down. I think that I know how they can connect all of it. And it goes with some of the news that came out for Marvel recently, so we'll be talking about that. But let's jump into it, because I honestly think that I figured it out. Oh, my dog's here. Anyway, I think I figured it out, and I actually am very excited to share this with you guys. So let's jump into it. Okay, so some of the Marvel news that came out like 2 days ago, I believe, were an update on Marvel's next upcoming films and the schedules and everything like that. And along with that, we were informed that there's going to be one film that releases in the middle of Doomsday and Secret Wars, and apparently that one film is supposed to take place on Battleworld. And if you guys don't know, Battleworld is like basically all the Earths combined into one, and each continent represents a different universe. So I think that's a good idea, and I think that they've always been heading to some sort of Battleworld kind of thing, but with all the different universes that we've been being introduced to and that we're going to be introduced to, and with everything just being a little bit confusing and not really sure how we're going to bring all this back. Like, when I say everything's confusing, I mean when we get stuff like that Marvel's post-credit scene, like from the Marvels, that was very confusing. But with this whole Battle World thing, I mean, there's a perfect way to bring back Toby and Andrew's universes. There's a perfect way to bring in the Fox X-Men universe with Deadpool and Wolverine. You can bring in that universe with Monica Rambeau, which is apparently supposed to be Earth 01100005. So I don't really know if they're going to do that, but I think that's probably going to be what saves them, is by connecting all these things together. And they could actually do a pretty good project, because I know that the film that's in between those two Avengers films basically essentially is going to take place on Battleworld. And I may have a few theories on what that could be. There's one that I'm just going to get out of the way, but, there's a few that I think that they could possibly do that would be pretty cool to see. So what they could do, and what a lot of people have been theorizing that they may possibly do, is they may do Spider-Man 4 on Battleworld. And Marvel, Sony, I swear to God, please don't do that, because we know we all want it to be, like, we all want Spider-Man 4 to be something fun and something grounded for Tom Holland Spider-Man, because he was in Washington D.C. in Spider-Man Homecoming. Then he was in Europe for Spider-Man Far From Home, and then they were doing with the Multiverse in No Way Home. So I just really want a story for Tom Holland Spider-Man, where he has that classic suit, Scorpion's the villain, or we have some sort of grounded villain like that. He's trying to get a job, he's struggling. We get our classic depressed Peter Parker, basically. So that could be the possibility of that one film, but I hope not. And if it is set in Battleworld, I feel like that's something that Sony would want, because if it's set in Battleworld, it's so easy for them to just say, let's bring back Toby and Andrew, because their universes are going to be in the same world at that time. So just have them show up in the next film. But that doesn't make any sense. At least that doesn't make sense for me, because they all know what we want from the next Spider-Man film. But I mean, with the rumors of it supposedly going into production by the end of this year, are we really going to get it that early? Like, I feel like Spider-Man 4, at this rate, if they want to make a good movie, it may not come out until after the Avengers films. I hope not, but, I mean, you don't have to make a good movie for it to come out that late, but I don't know. I mean, I'm really hoping that they don't do that, but it is a possibility, and it's something that I could see Sony and Marvel doing. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, apparently Blade is still supposed to make its next year's 2025 November release date too, which is very, very confusing, and I'm just like, what? I mean, it's whatever, but I hope they don't do that, and I hope that they don't. I really hope they don't do that, unless they do it really well, like, they still do a grounded Spider-Man thing, but it's in Battleworld. I don't know how they could do that. I mean, they could do it well, and that could cause them to bring in other villains from other universes, but again, they should stick to his villains. Like, I'm saying Scorpion. They should do Scorpion, but that's just me. But, yeah, I mean, there's other possibilities, too. So let's get off that topic of it possibly being set in Battleworld. That's kind of just that would limit the whole thing. I just want to get creative with it for a little bit. Let's talk some sequels. They could easily do, like, a Doctor Strange 3, They could do Shang-Chi 2, which is probably what my money would be on for one of the upcoming films, either before or after Avengers Secret Wars. Because I think Shang-Chi 2 is probably going to be announced this week at D23, at least I hope so. And that one could come, like, if it's not set in Battleworld and we just forget about that for a second, Shang-Chi 2 is a good competitor for that film in between both. But I feel like it could be kind of cool to see, like, a standalone Battleworld story, right? I mean, that's what they did in the comics. Like, they had a bunch of off-world stories just in Battleworld. Like, they had one where Captain America was fighting dinosaurs. It was in the prehistoric world and everything, which I thought that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool idea. I mean, they could do something like that with one of the existing characters in the MCU. But, I mean, will they really? Probably not. But it's worth a shot to attempt to hope that they do that. I mean, it's most likely, I feel like, going to be a sequel to a film, because if you guys remember, in between that time of Infinity War and Endgame, we got 2 films that introduced the character and was a sequel. We got Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we got Captain Marvel. I don't like either of those films that much, but I mean, we got 2 films in between those movies. So it makes sense that they're releasing one in between, and those 2 did kind of connect in the end, at least in the post-credit scene. Like, they were their own story until, like, the ending of the film, when it connected to the next upcoming big event. So they could do something like that, like have a sequel for Shang-Chi, or Doctor Strange, or Black Panther, or Spider-Man, and not have it take place in Battleworld, and eventually just have it connect in the end. I mean, they could do that, because that's what they did with Infinity War and Endgame. But, I mean, this whole Battleworld thing, it's a good idea because it does help connect everything, so, you know. But if you guys don't know, I'll explain it for you right now. So basically, you know, they're doing the Battleworld thing, right? And there's rumors that the film in between those 2 Avengers films is going to be set in Battleworld. And if they do Battleworld, like I explained it earlier, the way that they would do that is essentially they would probably put the Fox universe, since Fantastic Four is taking place in a separate universe as well, they'll put that in there. That one will go there. They'll have the Spider-Man universes, maybe Tom Hardy's Venom universe could be in there as well. And you would probably have other universes as well, and probably Monica Rambeau's universe where she's with the X-Men right now, and that would make a lot of sense. Like, that, honestly, I don't know why. I mean, I was on the fence on if they were ever going to even do Battleworld, and now that they are, or at least that's what the rumor is, and it's Secret Wars and we got Doom, so it really seems like we probably will be getting Battleworld. It helps connect everything in a really great way, or not a great way, but in a really good way where we will be able to follow and it won't be confusing to us. Because for me, the Multiverse saga, a lot of the projects have been trying to set something up, but then they just kind of don't follow through with it, and they don't really continue to set it up. So to tie up all those loose ends, they could just combine all the universes and maybe finish up some loose ends in those Avengers films, like Young Avengers, for example. They can do that. And, I mean, you could just do a lot with that. And I think that, I don't know why it wasn't so obvious to me that they were going to do this. And I don't know if it was a lot obvious to everybody else. But I, for one, have been very confused and very worried that they weren't going to be able to connect everything. But I guess they are. I mean, I guess they are. And also, there's rumors that Doctor Doom, RDJ's Doctor Doom, is going to be appearing in, like, a post-credit scene for Fantastic Four or something, which makes sense. But that's actually kind of cool to think about. We're probably I don't want to say most likely, but possibly going to be seeing RDJ's Doom within the next year, which is pretty cool. But anyway, that was my little rant that I wanted to kind of just address, because it's something that I thought of that I kind of I'm assuming that everybody else hasn't really thought of. But I'm going to probably sound stupid when people watch this, because obviously people have probably thought about this. Like, people probably already knew that Battleworld was going to happen since Multiverse Saga was announced. But I mean, I was on the fence about it, but now that we know officially that that's most likely where they're going to go with Doom and the projects that they announced, the project dates that they're releasing and everything, it's a pretty good idea. I'm just really, really hoping that Spider-Man 4 isn't that one film that takes place in Battleworld, and that it's maybe its own standalone story that has nothing to do with Secret Wars or Doomsday. It's just its own standalone story on Battleworld of a Marvel character we know dealing with an unusual situation or something like they did in the comics. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that maybe you guys are starting to make more of a sense of the multiverse in Marvel like I am right now as I'm recording this. And yeah, I can't wait to see what they do and what that project is going to be. I'll be making more videos later today, and my live stream schedule for this week is still looking kind of iffy. I mean, I may actually go live later, but I'm not quite sure. I'm going live for D23 at the end of the week when they do the Marvel and Star Wars announcements. So join that, because hopefully that'll be fun, and we get, because the last stream we did for San Diego Comic-Con was a little bit boring, but hopefully that this one will up the ramps a little bit and it'll be great. But I'm very excited for that, and I'm excited for the Multiverse saga to end. I mean, I think the multiverse is kind of being overdone right now. So I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.